Hey everyone, I am Haley Wild. I'm your East Idaho realtor, and I'm here to make your transition to Idaho Falls as smooth as possible. Today we're going to go over all 5 of the public high schools in Idaho Falls and Ammon and talk a little bit about each one, hopefully giving you some information that helps moving your teen to Idaho Falls a little bit easier. So you've decided to move your family to Idaho Falls, Idaho. If you have children, I guarantee one of the biggest concerns you're having right now is where your kids are going to go to school and trying to pick the right school for your kids. So today we're going to go over the 5 high schools in Idaho Falls. That's both District 91 and District 93. We'll talk a little bit about the middle schools that feed into those high schools so you can get an idea of what might fit your child. And then from there, you can start looking for homes in that specific area. We're going to start with the 2 high schools that make up District 91, Skyline and Idaho Falls. Skyline is the farthest west high school in the city, so we will start there. They are a 4A classification. One thing to keep in mind, I lived in Oregon and 1A was the biggest school and 5A was the smallest. Then when I moved here, that flipped. So 5A is our biggest school and 1A is the smallest. So Skyline is a 4A classification. They have around 1,200 students. The mascot is a grizzly and their colors are navy blue, white, and then like a light blue. They have a really fun and exciting rivalry with Idaho Falls High School. One of the fun things about that rivalry is they participate in the Emotion Bowl every year. It's a huge football game. Tons of community members come. It's even gotten national recognition in the past because it's such an emotional high school football game. So that's a really fun rivalry between those 2 schools. They don't have a football stadium on their own campus, so they use the Raven Stadium, which is on the Idaho Falls campus. Most recently, in the past 7 years or so, their best sports that they have won state in are cross country, volleyball, and track. So I would say those are their strongest sports at Skyline. The middle school that feeds into Skyline is called Eagle Rock, and it is pretty close proximity to the high school. So if you have 2 students that will be going to both schools, I would say they're conveniently located. Some of the other schools are just like a walk across the parking lot, and I wouldn't call Skyline one of those schools, but if you're doing drop-offs or if you have a high school student driving a middle school student, they are within a close proximity, and it's not on like a really busy road that you'd have to worry about crossing the street. Idaho Falls High School is in the middle of town. It's located on Holmes Avenue. I will say that Holmes is a pretty busy street, and the high school is right on that street. So in terms of traffic and teenage drivers, is it the absolute safest commute? I'm not sure. I think they have a lot of monitoring and things like that going on. It is home to the Civic Auditorium, like I said, so that is home to a lot of community events. And then it also has the Raven Stadium behind it, where both Skyline and Idaho Falls play football and do track. Idaho Falls High School is in the 5A classification, but they're just barely making the 5A classification because they have like 1,293 students and the cutoff I think is 1,280. So they are one of the smaller schools in the 5A classifications, which means when it comes to state tournaments, they are going to be competing with the much larger Boise high schools. So that's something to keep in mind. They are serviced by Taylorview Middle School. It is not within walking distance or really close if you're doing drop-offs or if you have a high school student that needs to drop off your middle schooler. I wouldn't say it's super convenient. And then most recently, they won state in cross country. Let's move on to District 93. The first high school in District 93 is Hillcrest. It is located on Sunnyside, pretty much in the middle of Ammon. It is surrounded by a lot of the things I highlighted in a previous video this week, like Dutch Bros, Starbucks, the grocery store, lots of places that the high schoolers like to leave campus. and just walk to for lunch. So I would say Hillcrest is the best location for a high schooler that likes to go out and eat because they can walk to a whole bunch of different places. Hillcrest High School won boys basketball state last year and placed second in football. So basketball and football are definitely their strongest sports right now. For football, they are actually building a brand new stadium right off of Sunnyside Road. It's under construction right now and should be finished before the next football season. So that's really exciting. They have shared a stadium with Bonneville High School, which is probably a 10 or 12 minute drive from the school. So for sports, that is excellent. They share pretty much a parking lot with their middle school called Sand Creek. So very convenient for drop-offs or kids carpooling that go to both Sand Creek and Hillcrest. They are called the Knights. Their colors are red and black, and they are a 4A classification. Let's move on to Bonneville High School. They were opened in 1951. Their mascot is the bee, and their colors are gold and green, just like the Green Bay Packers. Up until this year, they have shared their stadium that's on the campus with Hillcrest, but like we talked about, Hillcrest is getting a new stadium, but their football and track stadium is on campus, and Rocky Mountain Middle School is right next to the high school within walking distance. I will say that there are quite a few surrounding neighborhoods where the students walk to both the middle school and the high school, but there aren't any traffic lights. There's just like a four-way stop without any sidewalks. And so there is a little bit of risk with those students, and there was even an accident in the last few years where a middle school student was hit by a car at that four-way stop. So if you have students that are hoping to walk to school, keep that in mind. Get really familiar with the best way to walk and cross that busy intersection that is in front of the school. The strongest sport for the Bonneville Bees in the past few years has been their cheerleading team. They have won district and headed to state. They are super fun to watch. So if you have a cheerleader that is serious about their sport, Bonneville is definitely the best school for them. That brings us to our last high school, Thunder Ridge. It is a 5A classification and has over 1,500 students. It's the newest high school in the area, just opening in 2018. It is the prettiest high school, I think, of all the high schools. And when you're inside, there's lots of windows, lots of natural light, which, to be honest, none of the other high schools in the area really have. It's a really desirable place to go to school. When it opened, people really wanted their students to be going to the newest high school. In terms of sports, they are getting their bearings. They don't really excel in one particular sport except for dance. Their dance team rivals the big dance teams from Boise, so if you have a student who is a dancer, definitely look into the team at Thunder Ridge. They are the Titans, and their colors are blue and white. They are serviced by Black Canyon Middle School, which is also just right next door. Looks the same in terms of aesthetics, brand new. So that middle school and high school were really built to accommodate the expansion that is just coming in the eastern side of Idaho Falls, northeastern side, for all of the new families and all of the new people who are moving into Ammon. I know how stressful it is to move a family, especially when you have kids who might not be wanting to move, leave their friends, and leave what they are familiar with. So hopefully this overview of the high schools, where they are, what they're like, and what they excel at kind of helped you get a better idea of what high school might fit your student the best. If you have more questions, or if you just need someone to listen as you talk through your move to Idaho Falls, I would love to walk you through it, give you any other information that I can to help you and your students adapt just as best as you can when you move to Idaho Falls.